Welcome to All Star Crypto. Hope you guys are having an awesome day, an awesome morning, an awesome night, wherever you are around the world. My name is Alistair. I have been in the crypto space for the past 10 years, and today we are going through Bitcoin and a Bitcoin analysis of where it's going in the next few days and why everybody's been talking about FUD and the crash and how crazy things are with Bitcoin. I'm going to be explaining what is going on to you guys and girls, what is most probable in the future, and how you guys can trade this very successfully. A free way to support the channel, as you guys know, is to subscribe and hit that thumbs up button if you guys enjoy these types of videos. It really helps the algorithm out. So, for you guys, today's uncertainty in the markets has come from a position of seeing Bitcoin drop and crash, so to speak, to the very, very, very low levels. I wouldn't call this a crash at all. If we were calling this a crash from the levels of maybe 31 to like 28, which by the way, I played. Congratulations to you guys and girls who did play it. It's a hard thing to do. By the way, 3K is more of a correction than an actual crash, but there's going to be a lot of hype and people trying to tell you differently. So, what we're going to do is go through it. I'm going to teach you guys like what's going on here. It's going to be different looking at this. I'm using the Binance chart of Bitcoin rather than focusing on the international kind of chart. And in future, if you guys really want to, if some of you don't use Binance, then please let me know in the comment section if you guys want that as the thing I'm using in the future, maybe TradingView or something along those lines. Now, as you guys know, and I've said to you guys and girls before, keeping TA as simple as possible is best, and none of this has to be perfect, which is why I'm doing it fully off the cuff for you guys. Alright, you guys ready for this? This is what is most probable to happen. So, the first thing here, as you guys can see, is realizing the support line. So the support line is here. If we were to make it absolutely perfect, it would be at the level where it's kind of touching base with these candles that are shown over here. And as you guys can see, the amount of touches to the bottom is very, very bad. Not only that, if you guys actually see, there is a head and shoulders pattern forming. And it's actually playing out, which usually can break down to the downside. Now, there is way too many touches here, which can kind of confirm what we're talking about. Most likely. So what does that mean? That means that it will most likely hit a low down. In the same way this came up, this will come down. And the side, the place we can actually see it at is around this support level here. And that is touching base at the 2600, 26.7 kind of level, 26.5, but 26.7 to actually get a kind of buy-in. Oh, no, 26.5. So this is how you kind of chart in terms of support resistance levels. And I want you guys to not freak out like everybody else is doing. It's funny, I've said this time and time again, but we've gone from being in a position where Bitcoin crashed when somebody spoke publicly. Somebody who was a public figure in this world spoke publicly about how crazy Bitcoin is, or some kind of FUD about Bitcoin. We would crash about 50 or so %. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. There has never been less volatility in this market in the negative sense than ever before. So I want you guys to remember that as you go forward. You guys are lucky you weren't going and meeting huge crashes with Bitcoin continuously. So yes, I bought in. You know, most people wouldn't buy in. I bought in. I bought in around, no, it was here, around the 29 so level. I'm actually playing these in altcoins, but yes, when you see this kind of action, there needs to be an attempt to break to the upside, but soon enough this is going to run out and we're going to have this kind of need to see what is going on here. Now, can it break to the upside? Yes. And what I want to kind of point to is how many times the space is quote unquote manipulated to have a kind of follow through to the upside, which is very likely. For you guys who are shorting, the first thing I would say is not to short this at all. I would suggest that you don't play this, even if it does break to the downside, unless you have some kind of knowledge about the fact that it could actually do a break to the downside and then come back up, right? That's what they call a kind of fake out to the downside. So they could do this, and it's as easy as kind of hitting people's wicks who have stop losses down here, and that's why they do it. They do fake outs to the downside, and then they bring it back up to kind of try to hit people's stop losses who want to come out here and stop them losing money. But then they fake out, and then it goes to the upside as well. So there's potential for this to do all kinds of crazy things, but the way the market's looking, the sentiment is pretty bearish in general. I mean, the 1, 2, 3, 4 touches, that is not good. And now that we're coming up to a position of needing some kind of confirmation to the upside or the downside here is key. So I will be selling at some point if it goes up here. If not, then I'm still in profit, which is very easy to forget if it does break to the downside. I'm actually still in profit a good 2K, depending on how much Bitcoin I have purchased. So there is no reason to go crazy. There is no reason to freak out about this. That head and shoulders pattern is very bearish. And like I said, the 26 level is at play here for you guys and girls on Binance. I would say it's around 26,500. Probably more so, and 26,700, depending on how much circulation or how bullish the actual exchange is. Again, I'm using Binance. You guys use your own. It's going to chart differently. But these are the simple things that I look into when I'm giving you guys these kinds of videos and price updates. Now, I would say the 2600 level is very strong in terms of support. I would actually say anything going down is very strong support. Even the next support level down, which is around here, depending on where you chart, it's kind of around the 2200 level, and coming up, if you guys, depending on where people count it, right? Because majority of this is kind of zooming out and looking at the psychological levels from a certain time horizon. So as you guys can see, it changes dependent on what you're looking at. You go to the 15-minute, it's a very different outlook, zoomed in, than it is on something like the 4-hour, and it's even more shifting when you go into like the daily or even the weekly, etc. What somebody will think is the resistance level could be seen as this is not a resistance support level. This could be seen as, well, just a sell-off and a quick buy-up to some people, depending on which time frame you're actually looking at. The other thing is support. And some people wouldn't call that strong support, but the facts are this. We have gone up to a very, very strong uptrend level, and in terms of peaks of Bitcoin, yes, we've seen 50% corrections, etc. But this has never been more bullish. I can tell you guys, still, this has never been more bullish. And like I said, no reason to freak out at all. Yes, it is possible, but the most likely scenario is a break to the downside. However, on the daily, it's actually doing a bullish doji here. It's printing that, but that's on the daily. So, the upside. Where is the upside potential to end this video? The upside potential is, of course, here, right? Putting it to a position of 41 to 42 kind of level, depending on how far up this goes. I like counting candles and not wicks, by the way, for you guys out there who are kind of wondering. The reason I do, and the reason I keep this so simple, is because sure, TA has to be clean, but a majority of the space is not run by technical analysis. And I've said this before in other videos, it's actually very true. Things don't stick to technical analysis when there is manipulation in the market. If a voice can go off and somebody can just speak, and that leads to a correction or a crash, so to speak, in price, then it's pretty obvious that this space is manipulated. It's manipulated in very big ways by the people who have the most Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. to change the space with. So you guys got to understand that on a very, very big level. I'm still very bullish on this, and you guys and girls should be too. We can see it hitting the 4,200 kind of level. And I mean, on the downside, there is lower tiers of this as well. But I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. Bitcoin is inevitably going to 50k. It is. It's going to 50k. For any of you who are skeptical about this, stop. It's obvious that it's going to 50k. 50k being that psychological level, just like 20k was way back then. It will most probably go to like the 48 to 49,000 level. And when it goes to kind of past that threshold of the 50k mark, it'll either touch with it or just go above it, because that's what psychological levels do. And by the way, the bigger picture is yes, it's gonna hit 100k. It's very funny that most people, they don't look towards the technicals and the fundamentals together. They're trying so hard to do one or the other, and they think that things work that way. They think it's that simple, that, you know, technicals matter more. And yes, there's certain scenarios for each one, but if you understand the fundamentals of BTC, you understand the scarcity from the videos that I've been giving you guys on Bitcoin in general and why you should be so bullish on it. It's because there is such a small amount of it fundamentally that the scarcity and demand for it is absolutely crazy increasing. That is because of how many millionaires, etc. there are in this world, and there is not enough Bitcoin at all for these people. So that is why the general macro trend of Bitcoin is bullish in general. It is going to be to the point where, if it hasn't already taken over gold, it will inevitably as the kind of world asset, especially since everything is going online, everything, and another 30% of the world is coming online. There are so many reasons to be bullish on this. It's very hard at this point to kind of not look at the macro picture, but you guys got to realize, back when a lot of people bought who were kind of the smarter money, they bought at this downtrend level right here, thinking that it might break more bearish, etc. And I bought at the $5,000 to $7,000 level. So you guys got to understand that. I mean, from very humble beginnings did Bitcoin come from just about a year ago. So following this trend pattern up to these levels, of course it's going to need a correction and not so much a crash, right? People are just calling it a crash because they feel like it's going to elicit some kind of fear response in you and make you kind of freak out about what's going on. Alright, that is pretty much it for Bitcoin. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick analysis. We can hit the lower levels, but it's very unlikely that this is going to go in the macro bearish scenario below 20k. I can tell you, from the point of view from the top entrepreneurs in the world, and yes, coming from the perspective where I actually have masterminds with these people and I speak with them, etc., they are very bullish on the sentiment of this. And from a perspective of trying to win a competition, they wouldn't want to get this so low that most people can start grabbing it, right? Where most people can afford it. And around that 20k level, people will start actually being interested in buying more of it, because the 30k level seems really upsailed price. And I mean, 40k is pretty out there. But like I've said to you guys before, it's worth 100k. All of this is really, really cheap. And you can see a lot of upside potential going forward in the very, very, very near future. Most likely within the month, we're going to forget all about this, and we're going up inevitably. Remember that 50k mark as well as the 100k mark in the very near future. Alright, if you guys like that, please consider subscribing. It means so much to me. Usually I like to take time to answer your comments in the comment section, but also give you guys a little bit of outlook. It's cool to be bullish about stuff in the space. Like, Bitcoin's huge, and you should be, because this is the father of the coins. This is the one that is going to stay. it's cool to be bullish and have your love picks, etc. But for a majority of you, and for this channel in general, it's not so much about being all hyped up about the best coin. It's more about trading it into the best profit, whether that is swing trading, long-term trading, etc. Which is why I want to open you guys up to, hopefully, the fact that you guys got into Uniswap, which I put in another video. I actually just took profits from it, and I really hope that you guys and girls out there had massive profits in this. Just wanted to touch base on it because very important you guys are kind of following the sentiment of the market and what is going forward. DeFi is here to stay. DeFi is very much bullish in terms of the altcoin space, and that is actually the reason I bought into Bitcoin down here, if you guys are wondering. Sounds crazy, right? No, it actually isn't. This is something that traders do, very seasoned traders do, when they understand the space. I understood that because it was here, you guys can see here, there is a support there where there's a buy up, and there's also one over here that kind of supports the fact that that could happen again. So there was a buy there, and I set the buy just at the, I think it was 28,900, somewhere around there, 28,950 I think it was. And yes, I got a buy up. So that buy up was used in terms of Uniswap and it coming up from where I bought it originally, where I gave it to you guys originally, which I think you guys can check out in the other video. It was at the $11 or so, maybe even less range. I think it was the $11 range. So you guys would have made a really awesome profit. Right now, this is in price discovery. I want to do more on Uniswap because I think it's one of the huge picks for the year. Decentralized exchange and being the first one, massive. Billions of dollars in transaction volume, massive. All of this kind of comes up to how underpriced it is in general. It is. It just is. And again, hope you guys took profits from that. If you guys want more of these picks, of course, subscribe to the channel. Seriously. These are what are going to get you life-changing money. These kinds of picks. Alright? So, that is pretty much it. Catch you guys for the next one. Peace.